30 minutes after takeoff, I was slapped across the face, in first class with my baby in my arms. The flight attendant said people like me didn't belong there, but what she didn't know is who I was married to. She thought her badge gave her power. She forgot. My silence isn't weakness, it's the warning before the storm. And that intercom. It was the moment her whole world came crashing down. I wasn't supposed to be on that flight, if I'm being honest. I almost canceled it. Elijah had been fussy the night before, teething maybe, or just restless. 6 months old and already louder than his father ever dared to be. But something told me I needed that flight. I just finished a 2-week consulting job in Raleigh and was headed back to Oakland. I hadn't seen my husband in 16 days, and I missed his steadiness, his arms, the way he calmed both me and Elijah with one look. So I booked a first-class seat. Not because I thought I was special, but because I knew I'd need space to nurse Elijah, to keep him calm for 5 hours, and maybe, just maybe, to catch 10 minutes of rest myself. I wore my best jeans and a silk blouse I bought on clearance at Nordstrom, hoping it would help cover up the spit up from earlier that morning. My hair was braided, my skin moisturized, my boarding pass crisp. I didn't expect applause, I just expected a seat, and I got it. Seat 2A, window. I strapped Elijah to my chest in his little kangaroo wrap and kissed the top of his curls as the flight attendant offered pre-flight water. Her name was Cindy. Blonde, mid-40s, jaw clenched a little too tight, smile a little too forced. She didn't say much when I boarded, just stared at me and my baby. For a moment, no one breathed. Even Elijah went still against my chest, as if sensing the world had just tilted mid-air. Cindy's expression crumbled, just for a flash. Her jaw twitched, and her eyes darted to the ceiling speaker like she'd misheard. Or maybe hoped she had. What did he just say? She stammered, backing a step down the aisle. A few passengers turned to each other in hushed disbelief. Did he say chairman? I thought he was kidding. No way that woman is married to him. Cindy shook her head, then forced a hollow laugh, high-pitched and dry. That's absurd. A prank. Somebody thinks this is funny. But the intercom crackled again, cutting through her denial like a razor. This is Captain Ruiz. Miss Reynolds, return to the galley. Immediately. His voice was calm, measured, but final. That kind of calm that doesn't ask. It orders. Cindy's face blanched. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Her eyes scanned the cabin for support, but all she saw were cameras. Phones. Recording. The woman in 3D had tears in her eyes now, not from fear, but from recognition. The man in 4B looked like he wanted to vanish. A businessman in the aisle beside me knocked over his glass of whiskey. Didn't even notice. And me? I adjusted Elijah's blanket. Slowly, deliberately, my hands still shaking, but my face blank. I wasn't giving Cindy anything else to steal. Not my voice, not my pain, not my tears. She took 2 steps back, her heels catching on the carpet. Then, just before the galley curtain, she turned back. Her voice dropped low. Venomous. You think you've won? She hissed, her words for me alone. I know how this works. I'll fix it. You people always twist things. And then she muttered something I won't repeat, but I heard it. And I know Elijah did, too. She disappeared behind the curtain. And for a few seconds, the silence. By the time we landed in Oakland, the video had over 250,000 views. I didn't know that then, of course. I was too focused on getting Elijah's car seat clicked in, on keeping my legs from buckling, on keeping my voice from shaking as I thanked the gate agent who met me with a polite but overly rehearsed smile. Marcus was waiting, his arms wrapped around me before I even cleared the gate. Tall, broad-shouldered, and still in his WestJet Pacific windbreaker, he looked like a man trying not to fall apart. I'm so sorry, he whispered, his cheek pressed to mine. I never wanted you to get dragged into this. You didn't drag me anywhere, I said. She did. He kissed Elijah's forehead. Our son cooed. For a second, I thought, maybe it's over. But of course, it wasn't. Up by the time we reached baggage claim, Cindy Reynolds had already posted a 2-paragraph statement to her Facebook page. I was physically threatened by a disruptive passenger and forced to act to protect the cabin. Unfortunately, political agendas are now trying to destroy my life and reputation over a misunderstanding. I will not be silenced. And beneath it, hashtag protect flight crews, hashtag false accusations, hashtag reverse racism, the comments came fast. She's the real victim. Cancel culture strikes again. Let's see the whole video before judging. Black privilege at it again. Marcus showed me the post as we sat in the back seat of the car. I read it twice. My throat clenched. She slapped me. I said quietly. On camera. She's trying to control the narrative, he muttered. Don't worry. She's suspended. And I'll have legal handle the rest. I nodded, but something twisted in my gut. Because I'd seen this before. In school, when a white girl accused me of cheating and the principal believed her before even talking to me. In college, when a professor told me I was too passionate in class and should learn to temper my tone. In every job interview where I'd worn pearls and a blazer and still been asked if I had leadership experience. I knew what day for it. The news had stopped calling me a passenger by now. I was simply the wife. A corporate power play. A symbol of privilege, of backlash, of chaos. No one wanted to hear what I felt on that plane. They just wanted to choose sides. I sat in the hotel room, Elijah asleep on my chest, watching the same viral clip on loop. Over and over. Cindy's hand swinging. My head snapping to the side. My breath caught in my throat. Still, they questioned it. Still, they said, she must have done something. Then came the rally point. 24 off-duty flight attendants marched in front of WestJet Pacific's Oakland office, holding signs, wearing their Navy uniforms. Reinstate Cindy. CEO's wife can't silence us. Workers over wives. And Cindy herself? She stood at the front. Sunglasses. Microphone. Playing the part. I've served passengers for 19 years, she told the cameras. And I will not be ruined by a lie. I was attacked. I was targeted. I was silenced. She turned to face the glass windows of the building. You're not a queen, she shouted. You're a disgrace. They cheered, laughed, chanted my name like a curse. Marcus wanted to sue the whole union. Evelyn, our lawyer, was already gathering affidavits. But I said no. I want to speak. I told him. He blinked. What do you mean? I want to speak. Publicly. Not just a statement. I want to stand where she stood. And I want them to see me. He didn't argue. The next day, I stood on the steps of the same building. Same crowd. Same cameras. Same chance. But this time, I wasn't hiding behind windows. I was holding the mic. I wore a simple black dress. Hair tied back. Elijah in his carrier, asleep against me. I cleared my throat. The crowd quieted, if only to record. And I spoke. My name is Naomi Carter. I'm a mother, a consultant, a wife. And yes, I sat in first class with my baby. I didn't expect to be treated special, but I didn't expect to be slapped. Not for my son, not for my seat, not for the color of my skin. This isn't about airlines. It's about who we think deserves space, who we think belongs. She struck me. On camera. And the world said, but what did you do? I did nothing but exist in a place someone else decided I wasn't worthy of. And that is racism. Not just the slap, not just the slur, but the defense of it, the support of it, the rewriting of it. You could hear a pin drop. I looked around. At the uniforms, the phones, the silence. You want to call me privileged because of who I married? Fine. But let's be honest. This was never about my last name. This was about my skin. And the baby sleeping against it. But I won't apologize for taking up space I paid for. I won't shrink to make you feel bigger. And I won't stay silent just because I make you uncomfortable. I stepped back. The press erupted. The hashtags flipped. Hashtag Naomi was right. Hashtag believe black women. Hashtag she belongs. Within 24 hours, Cindy Reynolds deleted all her accounts. The union dropped their petition. WestJet Pacific officially terminated her contract, citing gross misconduct and violation of federal aviation law. And me? I finally exhaled. Elijah turned 7 months old the week after Cindy vanished from the news cycle that we moved back home. The windows stopped shaking. The messages slowed. The trolls found someone else. But me? I remembered the sound of her hand, the silence of the cabin, the click of the intercom, and the weight of every stare that questioned my presence. It didn't break me. It defined me. Now, every time I step onto a plane, I walk with my head a little higher. Not because I'm proud of what happened, but because I survived it. And in a world so eager to pretend racism needs a hood or a noose, I became the reminder that sometimes it wears heels and hands out sparkling water, and sometimes, just sometimes, it gets grounded for good.